In the presence of my wife and family, I acknowledge my life, my destiny. I'm a teacher, a coach, and a well-loved man. And that is more than enough. In New York, I learned to love my mother and father and all their flawed, outrageous humanity. And in family, there are no crimes beyond forgiveness. But it's the mystery of life that sustains me now. So I look to the north. Again, I wish there were two lives apportioned to every man and every woman. At the end of the day, I drive through the city of Charleston. As I cross the bridge that will take me home, I feel the words building inside me. I can't stop them or tell you why I say them. But as I reach the top of the bridge, I feel the words building inside me. I say them as prayer, as regret, as praise. I say, Lowenstein, Lowenstein. Hi, this is Trepacer, and it's Saturday, so welcome to my tradition of reviewing two movies. I saw two movies earlier today, and these two movies, Ender's Game and All Is Lost, starring Robert Redford. I'll talk about Ender's Game first. Okay, this movie, first of all, I have to thank J.W. Universe for recommending this movie, because I remember when this movie came out last year, I saw the trailer, wasn't really interested in it, it didn't grab me. But then I saw he did a review of it, and he really liked it. He gave it a high praise, so I wanted to see it. And I bought it last week, and I decided to watch it. So, and I watched it this morning. And basically, the story is about it's supposed to be taking place in the future. The Earth is basically was being ravaged by a group of alien race called the Formics, I guess, and they supposedly came to Earth to destroy humanity, but due to the sacrifice of one brave commander who basically did a suicide run, they were able to beat back the aliens. Okay, so but ever since then, the Earth has been preparing, in case these aliens come back. So basically, they form like a battle school in a satellite above the Earth, and they pick kids to do it because they figure kids, have been raised on video games, and they have good instincts when it comes to playing, those games and stuff, and their decisions could be, fearless, and they're better than adults at playing these games, and they have to prepare. They prepare them. They figure they're more likely sponges to absorb all this information, and be better at it than adults who are already fully formed. So there's this basic, like I said, a battle school that they have above the Earth in a satellite. Okay, and Ender Wiggins is like the third child in the family. Okay, and he's like, when this movie begins, he's in training school right at the beginning, and he comes from a family with in this story, I think there's like a two-family limit in the future, but their family actually got permission to have a third kid, which is what he is, the third kid in the family. Now his older brother washed out of the program because Peter, because he was too violent, and his younger sister, his older sister, Valentine Wiggin, was too compassionate. Okay, so they got permission in the family to have a third kid, and so they had Ender Wiggin, who was in technical school. He was the third one in. Okay, and you see in the very beginning of the movie, they're monitoring all the kids in training school, and they even set it up where they set up a situation where you can tell that Ender is really good at. He's really good at the games, and he's real instinctual and stuff. And they even set up a phony simulation. Colonel Grab, played by Harrison Ford, and Viola Davis, who plays Major Gwen Anderson. They even set up a situation where this bully is going to attack him, and of course, Ender uses strategy, to basically, when he's confronted by this one bully and his friends, when the bully challenges him, and he actually figures out a way. He figures it out that if he takes down the bully and really takes him down, that the other people won't bother him anymore. Okay, and Harrison Ford's character Colonel Graff sees that as maturity, and that he has the instincts of a leader. Okay, and he thinks, of course, after he has the fight that he gets washed out, but in actuality, he doesn't get washed out. He actually gets invited to battle school, and that's where he goes to meet all the other exceptional kids, and he's training, and they show basically how Ender, like I said, he's a really instinctive and a natural leader. He's very good at he's at the top of his class. He's really close to his sister Valentine, who's compassionate, and of course they're kind of close too because their other older brother, who's Peter, who's very violent and kind of resents Ender for being born and for going to the school and succeeding where he didn't. And basically, this movie is about Ender getting training and how he adjusts to this, to the training school and all the challenges he has to face. And I really, really like this movie. I thought this movie was really well done. And the young actor who plays Ender Wiggin, Ashley Butterfield, that's his name. He's really, really good in this movie. And this movie surprised me how good it was because, like I said, basically they show, the training and how they set them up. They teach them in class, and they also have this nice simulation. I guess a game where they go from one end. I guess sort of like battle tag, from one end to an opposite team's end without getting hit. They get hit with these stun things. If you get hit, you get paralyzed, and you have to try to get somebody from your team, through the other team's, I guess, goal without getting tagged, and then your team wins. Okay, and Ender is really good at his game and strategizing the best way to get there, and he gets matured so much. He's so much better that they transfer him from the one section to a higher level of training. And of course, he meets another bully, another from another team who basically doesn't want him there and kind of resents him. But Wiggins, Ender is focused on what he wants to do, and he figures out a way to how to I guess kind of work around the bully and the way, and he meets another recruit named Petra, who he becomes friends with, who he trains with, and it's a really good movie. And like I said, the rest of the movie is them training and setting up because this alien race, this Formax, they're worried about the Formax coming back, okay, to attack them. That's why they want to train these kids. And then you see later in the movie that the Formax are coming back supposedly, and about them, these kids preparing, they go through this simulation. Once they get their team together, they even let Ender form his own team, and then they practice these simulations against these, against the aliens and stuff. And I don't want to spoil. There's a certain part of the movie that I don't want to spoil, but that happens towards the end of the movie that I don't want to spoil. And it kind of involves Ben Kingsley's character, which I don't want to spoil who his character is. But another kind of I guess a twist ending in a way, without exactly saying what that ending is, that again surprised me again. Again, I have to give credit to the young actors who played their parts. I thought this movie was very well written and very well done. And like I said, Ashley Butterfield as Ender Wiggin, I thought was really good. And I liked Harrison Ford as the tough Colonel Graff, who basically sees Ender as a as the leader that they're looking for. As he figures he's the guy that to win the war, help them win the war. Okay, and then you have Haley Stanfield, who plays Petra, a friend of Ender that he meets when he advances to the more advanced class. Okay, she's good. Then you have Viola Davis, who plays Major Gwen Anderson, who's basically she's more concerned about their mental makeup of these kids and stuff. Whereas Harrison Ford he wants soldiers, and he wants them now. And he doesn't care about all this psychobabble based stuff. But even though Viola Davis's character, Major Gwen Anderson, is trying to make sure that these kids are right mentally in the head. Okay, and then you have a bunch of the younger actors that play the younger parts, and specifically the only guy that I recognize is the guy that played the bully in the advanced class, Moses Arias, who was in Hannah Montana, who played the short kid that I forgot the kid's name on the Hannah Montana, but he was a short kid, the really short kid, and he's really short in this movie, and that's kind of the only part that was kind of I mean, he was in like the advanced class, but the guy who played Ender was like a foot taller than him almost. So it looked kind of weird, him trying to bully Ender when Ender was taller than him. But other than that, I really enjoyed this movie, Ender's Game. It was a lot better than I thought it would be. And I'm just ashamed that this movie, I don't think it made that as much money as it could have been, because I know this was based on a book, and I would love to see the second or the next chapter in the story. But I don't think they're going to make it, because I don't think this movie, I know this movie costs a lot to make, and I don't think it made enough money worldwide for them to make a sequel. But again, I thought the young actor who played Ender Wiggin was really good, and also I forgot Abigail Breslin, who plays Valentine Wiggin, you know, the sister of Ender, and she was really good too. Like I said, because they're really close. Valentine and Ender, again, mostly because their older brother Peter is like a psycho who kind of basically resents, you know, Ender and kind of even attacks him occasionally. Okay, so again, I would give Ender's Game, I would give it an 8 out of 10. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I really, really like this movie. Okay, and I definitely, like I said, the young actors made the movie for me, and I like the whole effects and stuff, and how they set them up for training and stuff, and how Ender was a really smart leader and knew how to strategize. So 8 out of 10 for that. Now, the next movie is All Is Lost. Now this movie I'd heard about because, of course, this movie was a lot of people were talking about Robert Redford getting nominated for an actor, and I think this movie maybe getting nominated for Best Picture or something. But mostly I think for Robert Redford's performance, I think I heard it. But anyway, this movie is basically it starts off with a guy. It looks like he's sailing around the world on a sailboat, and he has, in the beginning of the movie, it just automatically comes on, and you see the guy. You see all of a sudden his ship gets hit by a shipping container at sea, and of course, water starts flooding in his ship, and he, has to patch it and try to navigate and get his ship away from this, this container that's put this big hole in the ship. And this is basically about him being lost at sea and him trying to, basically have to survive. Basically, this is what it is. And this movie, again, Robert Redford's character in this movie is not named by anything, and this movie is just him basically by himself. There's no other people in this movie. Well, there is other people technically in the movie, but there's nobody else that he interacts with. Let's put it that way. I think that's a better way to say it. And he's basically, you see him, he has to overcome all these obstacles that happen. Like I said, he gets, he has to repair his ship, and then there's the storm that he has to overcome, and of course there's sharks and stuff, and he has to try to, he's trying to navigate and get into the shipping lanes because he's thrown off course, I guess, from where he was supposed to go. So, but he has, these little navigational tools to help him, and he's trying to get into the shipping lane so he can get picked up. But of course, like I said, there's this boat has a hole in it, and he basically tries to patch it up, and then there's storms, and the boat gets flipped over, and then he's put on a raft, and like I say, he's basically trying to survive. And this movie is really intense, and you sit there, you're watching it, and you get caught up in his drama and saying if he's going to survive. And like I said, Robert Redford's character doesn't have that much dialogue in this movie. In fact, I think there's only a part where he, this is a minor spoiler, where he basically screams in frustration, after a bunch of circumstances. But there's no real dialogue. And oh yeah, in the beginning of the movie there's some dialogue, but it's mostly to himself, where you see he's kind of basically writing, I guess, to whoever his family is, because they didn't never really clarify who his family. But you see him basically saying that he regrets, and he regrets a lot of things in life. And then basically the movie just begins with him on the boat, and the boat, getting crashed into by the container, and him trying to stop the water from coming in and repair the ship. And then there's a storm, and he has to try to overcome that. And then just a bunch of weird circumstances. This movie is beautifully shot, and great music to this movie that adds to this. And basically, this guy is basically fighting against the sea to survive and to try to get back to civilization. And it's a really intense movie. Now, this movie, I would say, is a little long in spots. Sometimes, like I say, I don't think this movie's for everyone, because I think, because there's no dialogue part, maybe some people might get bored with it, but I didn't get bored with it. I thought it was, you see Robert Redford trying to overcome these obstacles, to try to stay afloat and basically survive, and he has to, basically jury rig things to try to get him to work, and, and try to eat and try to survive and not drown and avoid the sharks. And it's a really intense movie. Okay, and Robert Redford is really good, you know, especially for, I think Robert Redford's almost 80 years old, and a lot of it's, I mean, he looks, you know, you can tell his frustration. There's even, like I said, once, like I said, he doesn't really talk in the movie, but you can tell, you know, he actually yells out his frustration, and there's a part of the movie where it really got to me, which is towards the end of the movie, which I don't want to give away, a part where it just really got to me. And this movie, I would recommend you seeing this movie. It's good and it's worth seeing. And I would give this movie All Is Lost like I said, about 7.5. Okay, I would give it a 7.5. I thought this movie is, you know, you have to give the director a lot of credit for this movie. I thought it's beautifully directed and cinematography, and the music is great too. Like I said, because there's no dialogue in the movie, so this music, the movie relies on a lot of, you know, effects and a lot of sounds and to set the mood and stuff of what's happening and stuff. And it's really intense and it's really good. One of the better movies that I've seen this year. I know this movie came out last year, and it was really good. Like I said, I only heard about it when I heard that they wanted Robert Redford to get nominated, and I think he was decent in this movie. Okay, and like I said, there's no dialogue in this movie, and like I said, some people may get a little bored with it because, like I said, there's no dialogue at all. It's just mostly him battling to survive and reacting to circumstances. And like I said, the music sets the pace for this movie, and it's really good and intense. The score is perfect. It's like perfect for this movie, and it's beautifully shot. Okay, I think I was reading the behind the scenes. Well, I saw them was behind the scenes stuff, and they shot a lot of some of the stuff in the Bahamas and stuff. And I know they went down to, I think, to Mexico, and they filmed in 3 film tanks, and they had 3 different ships and stuff. And they did a great job, I think, for the budget they had, and they did, I think, a great job. Just, you know, with basically it's a man, a boat, in the ocean. And I think they did a good job. Again, I would give this movie a 7.5. Okay, definitely worth seeing and worth getting. And I'm gonna give Ender's Game 8. I really like this movie. This movie really surprised me. Again, I have to give credit to the story and also to the young actors in this movie, specifically Ashley Butterfield. I thought he was great as Ender. I thought he was really good. This movie really surprised me how good it was. And again, there's like a couple of twists in this movie that I didn't see coming. So, but I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. I really like this. 8 out of 10 for that. A 7.5 for All Is Lost, which I thought was intense and well done, very well done. Okay. So anyway, if you've seen those movies, let me know what you think. Feel free to leave comments down below. This is Trepacer saying so long and take care.